Is Luz Noceda planning to sacrifice herself in order to save everyone from Emperor Belos and the Collector? That's what this new promo for the Owl House Season 3 seems to imply, and I'm starting to fear the safety of our beloved human witch. Although most of this trailer consists of footage from the first 6 minutes screened at New York Comic Con, which we broke down in our last video, there are a few important tidbits worth breaking down here. So let's waste no time and jump right in. And to stay in the loop of all things Owl House, please be sure to subscribe with notifications on, because you do not want to miss a single video on Season 3. And we're planning to keep you guys fed. Also, be sure to check out our Owl House inspired design over at Toon Drip. Link in the description down below. The promo opens at nighttime, as Luz records a video diary on her laptop. But instead of her phone diaries that were framed as messages to her mom, Luz is directing this message to herself more than anything, lamenting about her guilt over her involvement with Emperor Belos and how she unknowingly furthered his plans by helping Philip Wittebane. She feels as if she was being selfish in her endeavors to become a witch, and her search for a sense of belonging has only led to the suffering of others. Luz has always had a habit of blaming herself for things. Ida losing her magic already did a number on her, but the chain of events that transpired at the end of Season 2 has left her in a really messed up place mentally. Of course, as the audience, we know that the draining spell, the Collector hijacking control of the Boiling Isles, and the Hexite Squad getting stranded on Earth are all the accumulation of everyone's involvement, not just her own. Heck, the second half of Season 2 had a much larger focus on how Ida felt responsible for getting Luz roped into all of this. And I'm sure King doesn't feel too great about freeing the Collector, even though that saved the kids' lives. But until she can have that conversation with the Owl family, she's going to continue to go down this path of self-loathing and carrying this chip on her shoulder. Man, it ain't even a chip at this point. It's a whole variety pack. It's not like she wants to talk through this with her friends either, since she's hiding the truth from them and her mother, which is ultimately only going to hurt herself because I'm sure her friends are going to be understanding. I gotta say, this trait in the Owl Trio is one of the most relatable aspects of the entire show, to blame yourself for things out of your control. As I talked about in my Steven Universe Might Be Coming Back video, I had a very huge loss at the beginning of the year, and it's something I often blame myself for, despite not even being there, so I resonate with Luz here immensely. Now, I can't help but worry about Luz's following words.
I know what I have to do now.
What? What do you have to do, Luz? Whenever a main character in anything says something like this, you know they're gonna at least attempt to sacrifice themselves. Does Luz truly plan to sacrifice herself? And if so, how or why? Well, Luz is no stranger to repurposing plot points from the Good Witch Azura novels into concrete plans to save the day. So perhaps we'll learn that the Azura novels conclude with Azura surrendering her life to save her friends. Maybe we'll learn of a spell that even humans can perform at the cost of the user's life. But truth be told, I don't think that Luz's thoughts are anything that dark. At least, not yet. The Owl House loves deconstructing tropes, so I do think a spin on the sacrificial play is something we could see down the line. Luz, King, and Ida fighting over who's gonna be the one to do it, only for things to play out in a way that keeps everyone alive. Though I suspect Luz's plan is pretty tragic, as I believe she plans to get the gang back to the Demon Realm, defeat the Collector, and then remove herself from their lives by returning to Earth, but only after ensuring every link to Earth and the Demon Realm is severed. She can't interfere with any of their lives if she has no contact with them, which of course is something everyone is going to oppose, especially Amity. Even Camila, after having these kids under her wing for some time, would warm up to the idea of Luz maintaining contact with the Demon Realm and visiting every so often. But I'm sure Luz knows all of this and will likely keep the plan secret until the very last moment, when no one can stop her. Alternatively, Luz may plan to get everyone out of this mess by striking a deal with the Collector, appeasing the deity by proposing to become his forever playmate, taking King's place, but only if their playground is the In-Between Realm, a place Luz has already visited and the Collector was previously held captive in. Sure, Collector may refuse for that very reason, but this time he wouldn't be alone, and that is the key difference. And either way, I don't think Luz would pull this plan off on account of the series needing a happy ending. But what do you think Luce's plan to save everyone might be? Do you agree that she just plans to separate herself from the demon realm? Or do you think it might go a little deeper than that? Let us know in the comments down below. Next, we see Luce and Hunter in the abandoned house, wearing masks of King and Hootie respectively. Luce is sporting her iconic red baseball bat from a previous beta design of her character, while Hunter is holding a broom which, I guess, would be similar to a staff in combat. Good choice! Odds are, they heard a noise in the house while working on the portal, likely the presence of Goop Belos, and they decided to investigate. I believe this particular scene where Luce removes a curtain and seems to be staring at something will actually be the moment where they find out that this abandoned house is the old Wittebane house. Maybe they stumble upon an old family portrait, or the old bedrooms of Philip and Caleb. We may even get confirmation on the relation between the Wittebanes and the Clawthorns, something that was teased during Q&A during last week's New York Comic Con panel.
So there are a lot of fans, and we're wondering if we're going to get a flashback in any of these episodes or in a continuation somehow that shows what happened between Belos and Caleb, and if Caleb is possibly related to Ida's family.
I'm going to ask you to tune in next Saturday, October 15th at 9 p.m. on Disney XD and Disney Channel.
Another shot sees Luce and Hunter preparing to travel down a flight of stairs into a creepy basement. I'm assuming this is also the abandoned house, and if they're going to find the bad guy anywhere, it's gonna be there. We've all seen it. Probably.
Here I am, Wheezy.
Another eerie shot that I'm sure is Belos related shows the door of the abandoned house slowly opening on its own as Amity turns around and notices. I love how the kids have tried to spruce up the place with Willow's plant magic and throwing some new curtains on the windows. A mysterious shot features a hand reaching towards the ceiling decor consisting of stars, planets, and a smiling crescent sun moon. I can't tell if this location is somewhere in the old Wittebane house or in the basement of Luce's home where the kids are residing. And my gut is telling me that this hand belongs to Luce, but the lighting and shadows really threw me off. Reason being, the New York Comic Con panel also hinted at a flashback popping up in this special.
So there are a lot of fans, and we're wondering if we're going to get a flashback in any of these episodes.
I'm going to ask you to tune in next Saturday, October 15th at 9 p.m. on Disney XD and Disney Channel.
So I wonder if this hand could possibly belong to a young Philip Wittebane, both of which would have interesting implications. For Luce, this visual detail would tie her to the Collector, which not only supports the aforementioned Friends Forever theory, but as I broke down in my Collector's Game theory video, Luce and the Collector have a lot in common with each other. So alluding to that connection here would be very telling. If this hand belongs to Philip, then this feeds into his self-fulfilling prophecy, how he feels as if he was destined to be the man who decimates which kind. Having the Sakura hang above him as a kid reaffirmed his decisions as an adult once he saw the Collector had a similar aesthetic. Or my more random guess, given that this kinda gives me the vibes of a nursery, a character could be sleeping in the room that was meant for the child of Caleb and the unidentified Clawthorn, before Philip took his brother's own life. I'm definitely not ruling out the possibility of Caleb and this witch having consistent back and forth access to Earth and the demon realm, given that the portal door was always connected to this house. There are a few other things that's a bit harder to figure out the context to. The Hexide gang gathered around an object that I'm sure Belos left there to fuck with them. Gus, Willow, and Amity seem to be pointing at an illustration of a hand that gives me zombie vibes, so we could get all scary-oky up in here. Hunter's trying to dodge spoilers, etc. Now there is a voiceover of Hunter asking,
Did you know that he was here?
which I think could only be referring to Belos. Maybe he appears in his monstrous state when the gang finally encounters him, and Hunter begins to have an immediate breakdown, to which the characters try to calm him down. But I won't lie, this sentence does sound a little bit spliced to me, so the promo may have removed some important context in between Hunter saying that and he. But the last thing we see in this promo may be an important indication of how the gang gets back to the demon realm. The squad is at the zoo and encounters a giraffe, who immediately reveals its true freakish nature. This is a callback to the very first episode, where Ida revealed that a lot of myths and cryptids on Earth were actually creatures from the demon realm, and that giraffes were banished to Earth ages ago. So by encountering a giraffe here, Luce may have her memory jog back to that moment and realize that if giraffes got here without a portal door, then there must be a naturally occurring portal somewhere in Gracefield. It's really cool to see this one-off line have relevance later on in the series, and I hope we get more of that as the final season progresses. But for now, I want to know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going by giving us a follow over on Twitter and Instagram at AwestruckVox and at Roundtable Vids. If you enjoyed this video, please sure to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. AwestruckVox, signing out.